It's you this time, isn't it?
No, all you.
Me?
You took my intro for
did I?
From when we came back from the break. Wasn't going to say
Sometimes
anything,
I get confused. I'm really bad at basic math today. I'm just really bad at counting and numbers. Even and odd is really tricky sometimes. Empire.Happy is probably better with numbers than I am because he's got all these build orders and stuff that he likes to do. He's the red Terran up here in the top right of Entombed Valley. And way down here in the bottom left, we've got the only victorious player on Dignitas so far. It's d.BlinG as the blue Protoss.
Yep, there we are. I mean, you're on my team at GP San Jose for Magic this weekend. I hope you don't, like, you're missing count.
I totally miscalculated Magic.
I swing for 50. 50? That's actually 4.
No, you've got bigger problems with me on your team at the Grand Prix. For example, Launch Party, for those watching, is a card where you can destroy a creature that they control. I used Launch Party, and all they had were indestructible creatures, hexproof creatures, and regenerate creatures. And I was like, oh, well, I just killed my guy for nothing then. And your turn. That happened twice.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
We've all done stuff like that in Magic.
Yep, sometimes you miss the very blatant text on the card that tells you exactly what they do.
Well, I'm curious now, fellow Magic players out there, what is your all-time favorite Magic the Gathering card? Shoot those in to us on Twitter. I'm at Kavanaki. He is at AskJoshi, and I am legitimately curious.
I know my least favorite
What's that?
Of all time in Magic. It's Fling.
Oh,
Fling is my least favorite card. That actually
1 red mana cost, sack a creature, and you do damage equal to that creature's power.
Yep.
So
I've lost many games to Fling. 2 are particularly destructive to my memories, but that's all right. Fling is the worst card in Magic, and hopefully it'll never be printed again. But for now, we've got some StarCraft to watch. What is that building all the way down there for Happy?
That's a second
it's barracks. A barracks, of course.
So he is going to open with the 2 racks now, and the European Terran players used to be especially fond. Oh, and it's going to get picked up on by Bling.
Wow.
Used to be especially fond of opening with 2 rack strategies, reactor first, and then a tech lab on the second one. Hit some sort of a quick combat shield or concussive shell or stim push, depending on when you actually wanted it to hit. But then as stim research got longer, as other builds became more viable, as people started playing towards the late game, it kind of dropped off a bit.
Yeah, and as we can see now, just chrono boosting out that first Stalker, Bling could actually keep his options open. No Nexus being dropped very quickly, though, so he's still got some time there to figure out what he wants to do. Worker battle in the middle of the map is going to favor Bling because his shield regenerates, and he got the first shot, probe shot first, not Han. So
or Greedo.
Or Greedo. It was neither. It was probe the whole time.
Was it?
George Lucas edited him out, and then in the new CG 3D XL IMAX version, you'll see the StarCraft probe actually shoots first and kills both of them.
Oh, really?
It changes the story pretty drastically.
I could imagine it does. Oh, man. It was... Okay. So I have a PlayStation 3 now, so I actually have a Blu-ray player. Basically, for the first time in my life, I'd always watch things digitally, so I figured, I'll rent a couple of Blu-rays and rented the Star Wars movies. Stupid new digital version. It really does bug me when you're just like, oh, all this great live action and just random CG stuff is thrown into the middle.
But Han steps on Jabba's tail, and it's hilarious.
No.
He makes a face and everything. It's so funny.
It makes me want to kill things. It makes me want to murder things. Anyway, speaking of death and destruction, this is a pretty good force making its way out for Happy. He's actually hitting any sort of upgrades whatsoever. Stim pack is still, well, actually it was just started a few seconds ago.
All right, so Happy looking to get some really early aggression in, bringing 4 SCVs along for the ride. Going to try and build some bunkers, it looks like. Still filing in 2 Marines at a time and switching it up with Marauders as he can afford. But Bling has this Nexus almost finished. If he lets that complete and Happy gets in here, that thing could be forfeit pretty quickly. It's going to get close, and he is actually going to let it finish.
And combat shields is done, so Bling does lose the first Stalker and is in danger of losing this Nexus altogether. We've got 1 bunker coming up. A little surprised that an SCV isn't building a second one, even just to reduce the surface area here from Zealots. Now Happy is going to react by going after the Zealots right away. 1 force field to split up those units in the middle of the map. 1 Zealot still remaining. All of the probes are pulled off the line. The bunker is actually only 10 seconds away from completing.
All right, the Sentry getting taken out is actually huge damage there as well. The Stalkers are not shooting the SCV. They're actually, oh, one Stalker was shooting the SCV, the other was shooting the bunker. So the SCV does get taken out. The bunker cannot complete now unless more SCVs get pulled. I don't think Happy has any plans for that. He's just focusing on getting these last Stalkers down so that he can have some free probes to kill. And Happy doing quite a lot of damage to the economy of BLING. You can see a slight supply difference there. Having actually the sentry get taken out pretty quick was huge for him. If he can just get through these last 2 Stalkers, he's going to have an open shot at that Nexus or the worker line inside the main.
Yeah, but you know what? At least BLING did hold on to this base. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of consolation considering he's lost 9 workers. But don't forget, he killed 4 SCVs of his opponent. And more importantly, the second command center is only just now starting for Happy. And if it's only just now starting for Happy, that means BLING will be able to recover economically. He's actually at an economic advantage for now.
All right, so BLING hanging on quite admirably. Happy is going to have to try and figure out something else. He is at least getting that command center up at his natural to be able to try and keep up, but he is still sending units across the map. Even now, you can see those red dots making their way past the Zelnaga tower, so he's not done here. He's going to try and keep taking out these Stalkers as BLING is able to warp them in, but with only Marines left at this point, I think these are probably going to be the last that he attacks in with. I can't really see him continuing. Oh, wow, look at that, actually getting 1 more Stalker. I did not expect him to get that, and Happy does actually finally turn around with those units in the middle of the map.
All right, BLING holds on, and this has essentially just been like a 4-minute long punch in the face from Happy, but BLING was able to juke, jive, and dive out of the way a little bit there, and he's stabilized on 8 more workers than his opponent has. And this still isn't even an orbital command, so we can't produce SCVs from it yet.
You know, 4-minute punches in the face seem actually less painful than 4 minutes of constant punches, because, like, it's going to make contact, and then what's it going to do? Just, like, push your face?
Kind of what it did. I mean, it did knock out the Nexus. It just kind of moved BLING around a little bit, so.
I'm just imagining, like, a Bruce Lee film where he punches a guy in the face for one time for 4 minutes and just, like, pushes him around the room.
But being Bruce Lee, at the end, it would actually still kill him.
Yeah, it would explode his heart and lungs and brain and eyes.
Precisely.
And, yeah, Bruce Lee would still destroy his opponent, but Happy instead pulls back.
Yes.
And he's going to try and punch again later.
That's right. He just pushed BLING to the side now, and BLING is saying, all right, I'll just take out those drugs and rocks. Yeah. 2 SCVs are being produced at a time, but there's still a 13-worker advantage for BLING at the moment. Yes, there are 3 mules down. Yes, that means the mineral income from Happy is quite good, but BLING is still doing quite well himself. Just on 3 warp gates for now, no additional tech, but he'll need to start adding those on very, very soon.
Yep, medevacs are starting to roll out now for Happy. He's got 2 more barracks being added on, and BLING is going to hide a Nexus in the very top left spawn there. Happy most likely will not be searching over there for a while, as he is still kind of bent on a more aggressive sort of play style here. Probably not going to be too concerned scouting around the map or anything. Now that his factory is floating over the middle of the map, he could potentially send it over there, but I really don't see why he would. So now, yeah, BLING should be able to get away with this base without any problems.
And that could be a pretty good advantage for BLING as well. I mean, as we can see, he hasn't scouted his opponent since the beginning. So, but judging by the number of forces that came out, he can pretty well predict what his opponent has on the field, and knew that second command center was coming up a bit later. And BLING actually is going to try and hold this off now. Throws down a few force fields just to stop the units from making their way up the ramp.
Yep, this looks like a kind of small force from Happy, but the fact that it fills 2 medevacs means that he can actually split them up as he's doing and move around to the main and natural from other sides, try and circumvent that whole sentry deal. This actually is going to cause BLING to have to pull some forces back as well, or at least do some pretty rapid warp-ins. It looks like he's not too concerned about it, though. Just letting that medevac on the right kind of go about its business. The medevac on the top side not coming to the natural either. So finally, we do actually see drops hitting on both sides at once.
Yeah.
How's BLING going to respond?
Well, BLING's going
kill
after the factory.
Okay.
There he's got a few units in position, but already a few workers have been destroyed. It's 25 workers in total for Happy now, and he has actually limited his opponent pretty significantly, or evened up the worker count between our 2 players.
Yep, it looks like the forces of the natural got cleaned out by that force that was actually still standing. Happy is not even going to get away with this medevac, so Happy needs to be satisfied with the damage that he dealt there, because soon BLING will be able to just storm back with a lot of gateway units. The fact that he did lose so many workers means that the army value for BLING is still pretty high, and if he wants to, he could actually pull off some good counterattack damage now.
And yeah, he may do just that. As we can see, Happy's trying to go over to his own third command center, but it hasn't been started, whereas the one from BLING has actually been mining for a little while, and he's continuing to chrono boost workers out of it. There's a transfer of a few across the map. And things are looking okay for our Dignitas Protoss player. Let's go ahead and take a look. He's sitting on 5 gateways at the moment. Twilight Council is finishing up, and he does have 1-1 already finished. So his upgrades are pretty good, but he doesn't have much in the way of tech. Yes, we know there are probes transferring.
There's probes there, apparently. The medevacs just barely missed them, I believe. So Happy's just going to continue on with this assault. That's actually good for him as well because the probes didn't see the medevacs. Ghost Academy is coming up now for Happy. Beastie Cutie was doing a good job of getting Ghost out on the field, so it looks like Happy will be able to do that as well. BLING ahead on workers by about 7, and he does have those 3 nexuses compared to Happy's 2 command centers, so he could actually continue that. It looks like he's still building 3 probes at a time. Stalker is going to catch this medevac up to no good. Unfortunately for Happy, he does have 2 other medevacs loaded up fully, though, to attack into the natural now.
And he is going to drop into the natural, but at the same time, so we have medevacs here, we have a medevac there. This one's not getting picked off. In fact, a few forces are getting torched from the low ground there. This pylon's going to die as a result.
All right, so Happy gets a minor success and can actually pull out now. He has pulled ahead in supply. He doesn't actually have a 3rd command center building, though, so that's a little bit concerning at this point in the game. You really want to at least start a 3rd base and try to get it established. Something could be happening. There was actually a 3rd base coming up for Happy.
Okay, but that is light years behind his opponent, as BLING has been mining off of his for quite a while now, and it's actually pretty saturating and started even taking some gas if he wants. So this base has paid off for him in spades. And now with his Storm coming up, with Charge Lots just finishing as well, and getting a robotics facility and Gateway 6 through 8, he's really hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, with 2 ghosts in production for Happy, he could actually, land some nice EMPs. It's going to be very interesting to see how the battles kind of turn out with Storm versus Ghosts and their EMP. Feedback is also available to try and gun down those medevacs. You can see a couple of medevacs with a lot of energy on them at the moment, but Ghost versus Templar battles are always pretty fun to watch. Blink is actually being researched for BLING as well. That'll give him a little bit of more mobility during the battle, and +3/+3 weapons actually coming along as well, so his upgrades are right on track. And he's going to be expanding again to the 3rd base, blocking off the side. No, not actually blocking anything off, just building more gateways because there's room there.
Yeah, that's gateways number 9, 10, and 11. So he is going to have quite the production here in a second, but he's really gearing towards the late game, and he needs to be able to intercept this army because Happy is going to kill a lot here, and actually losing 2 structures, not canceling them. Finally does cancel the last one, has to cancel everything that's sitting down there and pull back and defend at his natural. Now here's the thing, though, is that Happy probably believes he just did a lot more damage than he actually did. He still has no idea about this base here in the top left-hand corner and doesn't realize that his opponent is actually a 3-base Protoss, not just a 2-base.
Yep, definitely an excellent point. As these upgrades continue to come out now for BLING, Happy is going to have to try to keep up. 4 ghosts at a time coming out for him. Now, though, if he misses with EMPs, I'm going to have a tough time believing it because he's got so many ghosts actually being added into the force. It looks like the Stalkers are leaving at the perfect time for Happy to try and get some damage in with this drop. I'm not sure if that Zealot actually spotted it. It doesn't look like he did, though, because nothing's warping in and no Stalkers are actually returning to the main. He might wait a few more seconds for this force to actually leave the base entirely.
I think Happy, with his first 3 ghosts that he had there, could have close to moved in and destroyed BLING, but because he thinks, oh, I killed that base, now I'm 3 base versus my opponent's 2, I'm good to go, and he pulled back home and is making a stronger force, where I really think that was his moment, and the longer this goes along, the more that BLING can stabilize. I wouldn't even say stabilize, the more he's in a great position, because now he's got plenty of gateways in place, and he's got this base in the top left-hand corner still mining.
He's got a lot of chrono boost saved up on that Nexus as well, in case he ever wants to use it. Dark Shrine is coming up now as well. Happy still has a pretty sizable force. With all these charge lots coming in now, though, things could get a little bit hairy. Happy is going to move forward now and go with that drop to try and finish off some of these probes, or perhaps take out that tech, but really this is the important battle. You see some EMPs splashing all over the Charge-Lots and Sentries, importantly. So not any force fields actually coming out, only the one. He is going to load up a medevac about halfway, but the drop is going to be pretty important here as well, killing a lot of those probes, not going for the tech. Happy could actually just load up in these medevacs. If he turns around for just a second, he could load them all up and just get back home safely with those remaining Marauders.
Yeah, but look how much he's stimmed now. His forces are so low. His opponent's BlinG is actually managing to start cleaning this up. There's only a couple of forces left over. This Charge-Lot actually cleaving through most of them. That does leave BlinG at about a 25 supply advantage and still continuing to push forward on the map. He lost a few more workers. Yes, 42 now over the course of this game, but man, even with 42 workers lost, he's still almost max. He's in such a great spot.
That's right. This third base for Happy hasn't been up very long, and it probably won't be for much longer. There's still a lot of EMP juice available in these ghosts, but it looks like he's not going to be shooting those off just yet. I heard a couple of snipes going off. Scan goes down. Still doesn't know about that base. But Happy now losing his third entirely. Trying to handle this many Charge-Lots is going to be an ordeal. He's trying to move into a sort of a choke point to reduce the surface area there. There's one last big stim. I think that's probably all that's going to be needed to get BlinG to leave him alone. But at this point, the medevacs are going to get lower on energy. BlinG still has a pretty sizable army and a lot of Storm left on those Templar.
Yes, he does. And Happy now is actually down to 2 bases. There's no hidden bases here. Not like BlinG has up in the top left-hand corner, which is just, I mean, this was the smartest move he could have made. And BlinG's really had that work out for him over the course of this game. Oh, ooh, poor SCVs. What did you do to deserve that?
They were built. BlinG obviously doesn't like SCVs to be built, so he's ending their lives for them. Lots of ghosts pressing forward in the front. That's going to hurt when those Zealots charge right in. A couple of EMPs splash onto the end of the force there. Wow, warping in very close to home now. BlinG with way more Charge-Lots and High Templar ready to drop some storms. EMP lands right on them, though, and BlinG very quick to form up that Archon. That's the right move there, but feedback's going down on the ghosts and a couple of those medevacs. I hear a bunch of snipes, so these Templar ghost battles are actually delivering. Happy with some very low health units, though. Looks like he might be able to get BlinG out of his hair.
Yeah, but all these units are so low now, and the energy is almost non-existent on the rest of the medevacs. Happy actually had to move his SCVs over to this third base. He's only sitting on 24 workers so far. This is a bad game to be a worker once again. 86 of them have been killed. There's the GGG, and BlinG has taken his second game in a row for Team Dignitas.
All right, BlinG actually reversing the tide of battle here as Beastie Cutie took out 3 Dignitas players with relative ease. BlinG has now stepped in to try and do the same thing for Dignitas. 2 kills on Beastie Cutie and Happy. Really curious now if Empire is going to throw in Koss or Braddock or any other Terran they might be raising in secret on Empire, or if they're going to try and switch races here.
They are actually going to switch races. No Terran players. It's going to be Mista coming in next, a Protoss player. So PvP for the next game. We're going to see if BlinG can tie things back up for Dignitas after this quick commercial break.